welcome back to the channel, and today we are continuing our Series 12 reaction series with today's episode. Can you hear me? Is this on? Can you hear me? Get it? It's a joke. It's a really shitty joke. So last time we obviously reacted to Praxeus, which was an episode that I enjoyed, but not a lot of people did. I understand why. I think there is actually quite a lot of legitimate criticisms you can give the episode, but I still stand that I think it was a very strong dialogue episode and a very interesting episode. Though I say that, every episode of Doctor Who is interesting in concept. But yeah, I pretty much enjoyed last week's episode. I thought it was pretty good, even though it was basically just a better version of Orphan 55, which, I mean, it is. It just is. So this week we are reacting to Can You Hear Me? And really now we're on the final stretch of the series. I know, it feels odd. It feels like this series has been going a while. I don't know why. It's only been going about a month and a half. And not even a month and a half. But yeah, this, I feel like, for me, right now, Series 12, for me, this series has only been a slight improvement on Series 12. No, this is Series 12. It's only been a slight improvement on Series 11. And that's not good enough for me, because there legitimately only been 2 episodes in this series that I have enjoyed. That being Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror and Praxeus. While I didn't hate Fugitive of the Judoon, I still thought it was very poorly written and there were some pretty iffy performances in that. Though Jodie was good and Jack was fine. Spyfall, I don't think is a good story. I think it's very overrated and very painfully average. We'll probably discuss that more when Series 12 is all wrapped up with, and we'll have many debates and discussions about it, but we'll obviously talk about it soon. And Orphan 55, while I enjoyed it when I first watched it, I understand that it's not a good story. It's not a very well written story. It's just there's a lot of things wrong with it, and that it needed to be better than it was. And I was quite disappointed from Ed Heim when looking back on it and thinking about it more. And yeah, that's kind of it for every episode so far. So this series so far has been quite disappointing. Not disappointing, but because it's better than Series 11, but that is not saying much. Series 11 was very poor. This is just slightly better, with still quite some of the elements is not good. Like writing is still pretty poor. The companions are not good enough. They just aren't. And I feel like that this episode is the episode where they really need to shine. This is it. I feel like this is their last chance to get fully characterized episodes. And what I mean by that, I think that this is the episode where they need to not necessarily be challenged, but to actually give them a character we can relate to or can at least understand. Because right now, I don't get that with Yaz at all. You only kind of get it with Ryan, and I think Graham's the only character out of the companions that has been developed, but he hasn't been fully developed. I'm hoping this is the episode that this really puts a spotlight on all of them, I feel like. But time is only going to tell. We're going to have to watch this episode, and if it does not develop any of the companions, if 2 of them are developed, that's good. If 1 of them is developed, that's good. If none of them are, then they're probably going to go down, because I feel there's no way. I will find it so hard to believe that all 3 are going to be in the next series. Someone has to go, die, or whatever. They're simply put, one of them is not going to be here next series. And I obviously have no evidence to back that up, but I just feel like them being there for 3 series in a row would be And to do nothing with them now is, I don't know, this is the time. This is the one where you obviously can still develop them in the next 3 episodes, but after this is the one that really needs to grasp us with these characters, that really hooks us in with these characters, that we can relate to them. So I hope to God that this is the episode that gets it right. Please be good. Please. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's watch Can You Hear Me?
Can you hear me?
No, I can't. I'm actually deaf.
They'll be here tonight. Rest well, Tyra.
I'm not going to listen to you. Oh, Jesus, that... Well, that isn't sadistic at all. Oh, God. Jesus. Finally got another cold opening.
You asked. You are home.
Oh my God, they're home now. Oh, power's out. Hello.
Hey, Nomad.
Oh my God, actual characters.
What are you doing here, man?
Oh, is that the guy from the first episode? Oh. Well, isn't a good time.
Chip stall.
I got chipped though. Hey, banter. Hey, it's that guy. He was from the first episode of last series. Be interested to see what Yaz and her sister are getting up to. If something's changed.
You guys go this way. Oh, who am I supposed to share all the interesting stuff with? Is someone there?
At least they have an excuse for why she's talking to herself. I'm not a big fan of it, but at least there's an actual reason. Oh. What the Jesus Christ! It's like a buff sloth. You can see that the budget was big on this. Let me guess. I bet for the entire episode it's not going to be on screen that much. What do you mean, nothing? Whoa.
Can you see it?
Whoa.
I'm just finding things difficult at the moment.
Have you spoke to anyone about it?
No, and I'm not going to. Promise you won't laugh at me.
I can't promise that, can I?
I've been having nightmares. Dark, messed up stuff. I've seen him. At night, outside the flat, across the hall.
What's going on in the dreams? Oh yeah, because she's a cop. Hi. Interesting start so far. Oh, hello, bald guy. Oh, don't put it in the ear. Oh, jeez, that's gross. Oh, don't like that. Oh.
Tahira. Who? I'll be there in a sec.
Fuck, that was a weird one. Never seen that before.
Those
Okay.
creatures that we saw aren't registered.
So those creatures are
They've
perceived
never existed. Will never
as if they
exist.
don't exist for a reason.
Tell me
Are
what
they
happened
dream
today.
states? Is that bald guy creating them, but they're physical?
Do you have any idea where those planets might be?
You get me an A to Z of the universe, and I'll be able to stick my finger straight up. I've got no idea.
Tell us about circuits.
That's good. That's a good joke.
Seen this? This whole
No.
section was covered in fingers.
Oh god, that's gross. Oh yeah, she's just sort of disappeared and she's exploring, because that's always good. Yeah, so it's like I said, it's not real. It's a dream state thing that's brought to life from people's dreams. The transitions are very good. I like them. It's her sister. It's such an odd. She's pulling such an odd face. I don't like it. So where did the doctor go? Did she just sort of stay there? Oh, what the hell? The dregs! No, not the dregs! Don't bring them back! Why are the dregs back? That's going to trigger some people. I can't believe they brought the dregs back. Oh no, this is Graham's nightmares that he's going to have cancer again. Is it retelling what happened before? Hi Grace. You've got cancer.
Returned.
Yeah.
Why didn't you save me?
Oh.
Now, for most people, a quantum flux lock is
Doc, did you just let him go?
100 billion combinations.
This has potential.
But I've
This
got
has
that.
potential.
Sonic.
It's a decent start. It's going along strong. This has potential. Hello, Baldy.
Built-in pain. And the repositories of that pain, the nightmares. I presume that's your doing, Doctor.
Sure about that? Because look, your prisoner, she's free.
This was all just a law to get her here. And now she's just released it. She's actually bad? She was the villain! She's the villain too. Oh, this is the animated section that they were talking that people were talking about. And now they have. Oh god, that's a good shot. That's the timeless child. But what is the timeless child, Chris? What is the timeless child? Hello.
Down.
Down, boy. Sit. Good. Good finger.
Good dog.
Oh, for God's sake. I just made that joke.
Ryan,
I could be a writer for Doctor
where
Who.
am I?
What was that?
I manifested a creature from a human nightmare.
Doubts, guilts, they face them down every day and they prevail. That's not weakness. That's strength. You are
Turning your...
mighty Gasker.
Turning the fear against them.
Mortals. So entitled, so spoiled, you never clear up after yourself, and you should be really careful what you leave lying around.
Oh. What's an immortal's nightmare? Being trapped back in there. That's a bit silly. That looked a bit goofy. Is that it? Is that the end of the plot? Huh. That's a bit disappointing because it kind of just ended. It was getting good, but then it just kind of stopped. I mean, if they spent more time together with this episode, I'd be buying this, but it's... Hopefully he comes back. Okay. Is this what they were on about? The 3-year... The anniversary they were on about? Is this what inspired her to become a policewoman?
I've got something for you.
50p.
The thing is, Doc, I worry about getting sick again. Time. Not quite the shadow, but hey, don't get me wrong. I mean, my checkups, they're all fine, but it made me think. Well, they made me realise that the fear is still there. Yeah.
So I'm just going to subtly walk towards the console. And then, in a minute, I'll think of something that I should have said that might have been helpful.
Yeah.
Ryan's having
We're getting
doubts.
older, but without them. Missing out bits of their lives. One would all.
Okay. And that was Can You Hear Me? So that was Can You Hear Me, and I mean, it wasn't bad. Like, it was fine, but it kind of just ended. And then the last, like, 10 minutes were to do with the characters, which is fine. I'm fully on board with character development, and there was some there. Like, for example, Ryan just at the end there, sort of kind of thinking that, like, is this right for him? Because is he feeling like at some point, that's obviously a setup, at some point I think he probably is going to leave, or is going to want to leave because he feels like that he wants to experience the life with others, with his mates, with everybody around him. He wants to live his life normally with them to share experiences with that. And I think that's a good character setup. So we'll have a look forward to that in the next 3 episodes. But I feel like the episode was getting really good. It was slowly building up. It was getting good, and it was a decent start. It wasn't fantastic, but it was getting decent. It was slowly building up. Then we got to the point where the woman was free, and then 5 minutes later they were trapped again. Probably not 5 minutes, but it kind of just ended, and it was kind of disappointing. You know, it's the whole thing about fighting your fears, facing your fears, overcoming your fears. That's obviously a good theme to have for an episode, and I'm not always a fan of things just blasting out themes, how you should feel about the episode. It should be able to speak for itself through the story. So, and them having this whole 3 years earlier thing with Yaz, I think it's good intentions. It's trying to give more for Yaz, and it is more for Yaz. We now learn more about her. We know more about her history. We know more about what she is as a person. I'm assuming they didn't say it or hint it. I'm assuming that was probably like her inspiration to become a police officer because of her, I assume. So that does give us something, you know, but it's all in one episode, so it feels like, oh, we got to bring all this together to make sure all these characters developed. That's stuff you do the last series, and that's stuff you build up to now. You know, you can't have it in one whole episode because it gets so packed in and feels so jarring. You know, so my issues is that this episode has really good intentions, but it does it in one whole episode when it should be spread across from episode 1 of last series to now. This is stuff you do throughout the entire run of these characters, and what they haven't done is that they've done it in one episode. What I think should have happened is that, for example, we should have had more stuff in Sheffield over the last 2 series with Ryan and Ryan's mate. We get more stuff with them. Hopefully he comes back at some point, so then we have that bond here now. We can develop that later. My main issue is that it's trying to pack so much into one episode, and it is good intentions, it is, and I think that this could have been, like, I don't even think this episode was bad. I actually thought it was fine. Like, it's an okay episode, but its build up is better than its ending, and it just ends like that. It basically ends super disappointingly. It's like, you know, oh, what's your fears? Here you go. You don't clean up after yourselves, you know? It's kind of cheap. It's a cheap ending, and it's not fantastic. So the build-up is way better than the ending by a massive scale. What else? The Doctor, I felt, was actually pretty good when she was having scenes with Zilen, or whatever his name was, the bald guy. I think that was the best scene from the episode, their interactions on the ship just before the woman was free. That was probably the best scene from the episode, because I think the actor playing the bald person, Ian Gilder, or Gilder, I don't know, Gilder, he was really good. I think he was at his best before the woman was free, and the woman who was free, the other god person, I didn't really care. She didn't really have a character. She was just evil, you know. And at least, even though obviously the bald guy was evil, he at least had a sense of presence about him. He was quite menacing, and his dialogue was very good. He was very well acted as well. He was very good. So yeah, he was good, but I think the ending was quite disappointing for a villain that I was quite interested in. But the little finger things and the fear stuff, that was pretty decent, I think. I don't know what else to say, really. Like, the animation part of the episode was pretty good. It was just exposition, but it was exposition in an interesting way, so that's at least better than what they've done before, so props for that. That was pretty decent. Just explaining what these characters are, you know, what they are, who they are, why were they trapped, you know. So obviously the woman was transferring images into Graham's head to tempt the Doctor to come in to then release her. So that is pretty smart. I think that's pretty decent. Like I said, the build-up was way better than the ending. So yeah, and obviously Ryan's friend, I think he needed to be in it a bit more, you know. I think we didn't get enough of him to really attach ourselves to the character, you know. But I think there is potential there. I think that this episode, I said halfway through that this episode had a lot of potential, and then 7 minutes later it ended, you know. This episode should have been an hour. It should have been an hour long, I feel like. Especially when this episode had a cold open. So Chibnall clearly thought this was an important episode, so it needed to be an hour long, and it wasn't. It was like 45 minutes maximum. So this needed to be an hour, I feel like. I think this episode needed to be longer, and that's a shame. That's a real shame, because this episode had a lot of potential and was getting good. It was getting good, but then it ended really cheaply. And then you obviously got the woman from the opening who imagined the fears of these big creatures that look like really buff sloths with long nails and stuff. They were decent, but obviously I think they didn't spend a lot of time with them because they wanted to make it look good, put a lot of the budget into that, but didn't show it on screen a lot. I think that was very clear. But yeah, she didn't really do anything. She was just a side character that didn't really have any development, but was just used to explain what these creatures are. They're their image of her nightmares brought to life, and that's why they couldn't kill her, but killed everybody else. Oh no, they didn't kill them. They took them and took their nightmares to fuel her, to keep her sane. So yeah, I guess that's kind of it. Obviously you got the cameo from Grace from Graham's nightmare, which was obviously cancer. I think that was going to be pretty obvious when they're going to do an episode about fears. Ryan's fear is him missing out on, not being there for his friends and stuff like that, which I think obviously plays into the end there with Ryan, so it's hinting at what he's going to be doing in the next few episodes. And then obviously Yaz's one is a fear that was made in this episode and resolved in this episode, which is something we never knew before. It was all done in one episode, so I feel like that was kind of rushed, It was very odd. And obviously we had Yaz's sister as well. She was there for like a minute and then was in there in a nightmare, but then that was it. Nothing else from her, which is a shame because I thought I like Yaz's sister. I think she's pretty good, and I wish she was in it more. But yeah, decent. Well, it's an okay episode, but there's so much potential. There was so much potential. This could have been a really good episode, like a really, really good episode. But it just wasn't, And I'm not even being that negative on it. Like, I don't think it's terrible. There wasn't anything really overtly bad about it. It was nicely shot. There was good animation. The transitions, stuff was great. The creature looked decent as well. The villain was very good in terms of presence and dialogue and stuff. So it was a good episode, but with a really poor ending. That's what I really feel about it. So what ranking would I give it? I'm probably going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 because I feel like that the first half is very strong, but then the ending is what really messes up the whole episode, And it's a shame because I think if the ending's strong, this is like an 8 or an 8.5. Because I think that the beginning was so strong, but then ended so poorly, And then it spent a couple of minutes with the characters, which I'll take. I like character development with the companions, but that's stuff you do over the whole series and their whole run, It feels like Chris remembered that, oh yeah, I've got to develop these characters. I did nothing with them in Series 11, especially Yaz, and then crams this into the whole episode. But I will say it's at least something. There's some development there. It's not a bad episode. It just didn't stick the landing it should have, because if it did, this would have been a fantastic episode. I feel like if it was ending stuck well, this would have been great. Really. But even then, it's not bad. It's just kind of disappointing in aspects and good in others. That's really how I feel about it. So what do you guys think? Did you like it? Did you think it was also disappointing? Or did you think the ending was fine enough that you thought this was a good episode? Because I think people can overlook that and say that the character stuff was pretty good, and I can see where they're coming from. But I think for that to be like properly good, the ending needs to stick and it needs to flow better, and it doesn't have to be so jarring, But it is what it is. We've got 3 episodes left. We've got next week, which is The Haunting of something. I can't remember what it's called. And then we've got the 2-part Cybermen finale. So we've got one more episode until we get to the finale. So join me next week for the penultimate story of Series 12. I'll see you then.